Hi, everybody. I'm Donna Reid, and this is Donna Reid Talks Voice, and I will be working with Ed. Hi, Ed.
Hi Donna, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
So, can you just give a little bit of a background of yourself and let our listeners know who you are, what you do?
Sure. I moved to New York about 10 years ago. I'm from Australia originally, and I came to New York to study musical theatre, and that's where I ran into Donna Reid, who became my teacher, and I've been working with Donna off and on for the last 10 years. Um, uh, After I finished studying, I started to do work in musical theatre and in film and television, and really for the last 5 years, I've actually taken a bit of a hiatus and focused on a career in publishing. All very varied here, but I'm excited to come back in today and have a voice lesson with the Donna Reid.
Thank you so much, and I'm glad you preceded our lesson by saying that you've been taking some time off. So now
Yeah,
Ed and I have not had a lesson together in what, maybe 5 years, something like
I
that?
think it's 5 years, so
Okay.
it's great to see how the technique will stand up, and I absolutely am very confident that we'll get left go where we left off. That's for sure.
Let's hope so. So we'll see about that, right?
Me
Now,
too.
I I'm taking, I'm assuming, let's put it that way, I'm assuming that you've been singing here and there on your own, just doing stuff.
Yeah, I have a piano at my apartment, and I will occasionally sit at the piano and have a little bit of a play. So obviously I get quite busy at work, but it's kind of a nice kind of escape for me to just sit at the piano and play through a couple of musical theater songs that I really enjoy kind of singing through.
Wonderful. So let's see where your voice is at, if it's rusty, if it's not rusty. We'll see what's going to happen. So I want you to start on the bottom here, and I'm going to get you moving just to get you going fast so you don't think about things, right? So we're going to do those three notes with ga, ga, ga. Whatever happens, just let it come out not too loud, nice and easy.
Ga 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 ga.
Exactly.
Ga 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 ga. Ga 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 ga. Ga 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 ga. Ga 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 ga.
Great. Now that seems to be working, seems to be doing its thing, right? I'll tell you one little tiny thing right off the bat. The ga 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 seems a little bit stodgy. How
Okay.
does the back of your tongue feel when you do that?
I was definitely very much conscious of like trying to relax it, and I'm an overthinker from way back, so I will go into the deep dark depths of what I'm doing in a particular period of time. So I think I was trying to over process the back of my tongue, I think, where I really needed to just let go and really just roll through with the sound. So I definitely think it could be freer, and I was definitely kind of over processing it for sure.
Okay, fine, fine, fine. And again, I heard a little something, something with it. So let's work on that right off the bat. So instead of a ga, I'm going to have you do this on a ya, but we're going to do the same thing. Now I'm going to have you do it several different ways. The first way I want you to do it is trying not to move your jaw whatsoever and just ya, 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 just the back of your tongue. So the same idea, three times ya, 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 not moving your jaw. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Watch your jaw.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
All right. See, what I'm noticing is that the tongue's still a little stuck.
Yep.
Doesn't seem to be moving a lot. So I'm going to have you do a silent ya, 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 and see, I'll show you what I mean, and my viewers can see what I'm doing. If you move your tongue without the jaw silently, you can get the whole larynx moving. Now, this could be difficult, and it could be a little awkward, and it doesn't matter. Just see if you can get a little bit of movement going. it might feel actually kind of gaggy because the tongue has to go back and down. Your tongue's kind of doing this instead of, so it's back and down. It might feel a little gaggy, which is okay. So see if you could do a few of those. Careful because your tongue's going forward like this. It's going,
Ah,
needs to go back and down. That's closer. There you go. There you go. Now the larynx starting to move. Feel that?
yes, I do. You know, us Australians, Donna, we're not used to moving our tongues at all.
This
Have
is
a very,
very, very correct.
we have a very flat everything, so
Yes.
it's gonna getting it active is helpful.
Great, great. I'm glad you brought that up because many times I will find that a vocal habit or freedom of the tongue or not freedom of the tongue has to do with original speech. You know, for example, an overly rounded ah could be because that's how people say their ahs. I'm from Chicago, so everybody calls me Donna. So it's a very broad ah. So I have to be careful not to overly broaden my ahs when I sing, right? So everybody has a regional thing. And there are some languages that promote more of a tongue movement. I find when I work with Italians, their tongues just move all over the place because that's kind of what the Italian language does, right? So you're right in that the regionality of your speech, you know, makes it a little bit funky. But that started to move a little bit. Now, let's go back to the singing it, right? But I'm going to have you do it this way. So I'm going to have you breathe in with the ya, 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 and then you're going to sing out with the ya, ya, ya. So I'll show you what I mean. That's going to be your note. So you're going to do ya, 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 ya. So you can get the momentum of the breathing in and the ya, ya, ya going, keep the movement going, and then sing out.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Now, did you notice how the tongue moved a little bit more?
Much more, yeah.
Great. I'm still going to try it another way, but I want to play with these for 2 or 3 notes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Great. Now, that was way too much air for the exercise, but I just wanted to get the tongue moving. Fine. Now, no, we're done. We're good. Now, I'm going to do the total opposite of what we just did in terms of how we're moving the tongue. You're going to go back to this one. But instead of moving the tongue without the jaw, you're going to over move the jaw. So for this one, it's going to be ya, 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 ya. Really let the jaw be loose. Let it look stupid. Let it flop around. Ya, 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 etc. Okay?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Exactly. Not too loud.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Now, of all the stuff that we did with the tongue and everything, I like this one best.
It feels a lot freer and a lot less like I'm trying to manipulate the sound, you know, or
Exactly.
the sensation more than anything.
Great, great. Now, what I do, I like to have people play around with moving the back of the tongue without moving the jaw to get that little bit of freedom. But many times I'll find, well, you know what, that doesn't quite seem to be working, or maybe it's difficult for somebody to move the back of the tongue without moving the jaw. And then I switch around to this one, ya, 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 ya. And sometimes just on its own it works a little bit better, but that may actually work better because it it was preceded by trying to move the back of the tongue,
And
right?
I find too, if I'm in a stressful situation, I hold a lot of tension in my jaw. And so I think it often carries over until I can kind of relax into the situation. I tend to manifest it there, so it takes a little while for it to relax into the situation. So
Great. So which is what's happening right now. So, and I'm glad you brought that up because That's what happens to everybody, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's like, what do I do? I don't know. Fine. Now, I like this ya. So what we're going to do with it is ya. Let it flop around. Let it do whatever it wants to do.
Ya, 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 ya.
Exactly.
Ya, 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 ya. Ya, 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 ya. Ya, 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 ya.
And let it go wherever, whatever it wants to do.
Ya, 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 ya.
Exactly.
Ya, 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 ya.
Yep.
Ya, 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 ya.
Yep.
Ya, 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 ya.
Now, did you hear a little shift on that one? That
Yes,
kind
I
of went
did. Yeah,
somewhere else, right?
yeah, I
Of
did.
course. Now that's an A natural.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, very nice. Exactly. So we could tell that in the beginning, your voice was a little, it's like, it's early and it's like, okay, I'm getting warmed up and I'm getting used to doing this and all of that. All we did was then, I haven't gone for the whole lesson. I don't exactly remember what note. I would think maybe a C. I didn't go higher than a C for the whole lesson. Then played around with the tongue a little bit, got things moving, got things doing whatever it was doing, right? And then boom, right off the bat, there's an A natural. Now I
Well,
like the fact that it shifted because the way you were doing the whole passaggio area, E flat, E, F sharp, all of that, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. But right around the A natural, something needs to shift. You can't possibly take those other sounds that you had and get it up there in the A natural. Now, let's forget about that because obviously that was working real well, easy, up there, didn't feel tight or anything. But what's your falsetto doing these days?
Donna, I left my falsetto 5 years ago, and I've never found it again. I don't know where it is. We haven't been in contact, and I cannot guarantee that it's going to be there.
Well, let me put it this way. At least we know that the high notes are not constricted because those are very easy. So there must be some kind of a falsetto lurking back there, right?
Yeah,
Now,
I've always had a really just super breathy. It's the one thing I've really struggled with is trying to develop a non-breathy kind of falsetto. But
falsetto.
you've really helped me kind of bridge and bring some of that chest into that sound. But it's always been a real struggle for me.
Well, I'll tell you how we're going to approach it. I'm going to approach it with the same ya idea, but I want you to think already ahead of time. Whatever you are used to in terms of a falsetto, what it feels like, what it sounds like, throw that out the window and have the thought that instead of a falsetto, this is going to be the quietest chest voice you could possibly think of. Now, it's not going to feel like that. And really don't even think about how a falsetto feels or how a chest voice feels. But think a quiet chest voice, and I'm going to have you do you. Let me do it here. 3 times you. It's clear. It may not feel like a falsetto. Think a quiet chest voice. Let's see what that does. Now, how does that quote unquote feel? Like a chest voice? Like a falsetto? Like a weird mix?
Completely like a chest voice to me.
Okay, you know what? Let it feel like a chest voice.
Okay.
Aim for that sound and let's see where that sound goes. Now, I hear an awful lot of chest voice participation in there, which is absolutely fine. Right now, I like the fact that it's free. So why are we going to go for some kind of a falsetto that might shut down when this guy's free? Now I'll tell you how we're going to get to more of a falsetto. We're going to take this higher until your voice decides it wants to split off somewhere. So anticipate the fact that at some point it might go and do something weird. Now, see, already the top note is starting to like, I think I need to go somewhere else. Not know where that somewhere else is, and you just keep doing you, and see where he goes. Good. As long as it doesn't feel constricted, that's all we worry about. And again, you hear how that top note is like, I'm trying to go somewhere else.
We're
And
fighting each other at the moment, that's for
and
sure.
you're doing it absolutely right. We're just letting the muscles try to figure it out. Now, know as you're doing, but I'm going to warn you, pre-warn you as we go higher, that ooh opens up. It might not want to be an ooh, ooh, ooh. Whatever it wants to do, you just keep approaching it this way. No, you got to go fast. You have to go fast.
Okay, perfect.
Almost. I'll tell you what. I'm going to change the pattern because remember, when something doesn't quite work efficiently, that's my job. I have to give you something else to do to make it work more efficiently. Let's do it this way. Same you. Let's just see where it goes. Still a little grab on that top, but I'm still going to go higher because I don't know what's going to happen. Take plenty of air and no, yes, you're going to take plenty of air, but I'm going to add something else. I'm going to have you move around so that as you're going higher, because it's higher and it's a little tight and it's not quite there, there might be a little grab in your body. So take plenty of air, the big expansive in breath, move around and do it again, just let it fly. Do you hear what happened with the second two?
Yeah, the second two were much freer.
Started to go somewhere else. So then that tells me, because of the little bit of trepidation about, oh my gosh, we're getting higher, I'm not good in the falsetto, whatever the thoughts are, the body tends to want to get tight. The moving around is going to help it out. So again, big expansive breath, move around. Let's just see where he goes. That's going somewhere else. Yeah, that's doing something else. I'm going to try a little bit higher. I'm doing the limits here, pushing the limits to see where that guy's going to go.
Okay.
All right?
I feel like I could do it in a true head voice, but I've just been keeping it where it is. So I'm just going to roll with it as is right now. I don't want to, I'm going into the overthinking mode. So let's just do it.
Oh, okay. So I'm glad you brought that up. So you're trying to maintain the same feeling as we go higher?
I'm trying to maintain the same breath flow and the same sound, not necessarily the same feeling, but maybe that's the wrong approach. I'm not sure.
I'm glad you said that. Now, let's back up a little bit. Let's go back to there. Do not maintain the same sound. Because now initially I said, yeah, that's the sound. We want to use that sound. But as we're going higher, it's going to do something else. But you're not allowing it to do something else. Now, you're not trying to keep the same feeling, which is great. But even just by trying to keep the same sound, you're not allowing whatever other weird thing is going to happen.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to back up a little bit. Same thing. I still want you to move, and I still want you to take plenty of air. Allow the sound to be whatever. It's an ooh. It's going to do whatever it's going to do. The beginning note, you know what you're doing with that. And then you just let it fly from there. That did something else.
Yeah, that was better. Yeah.
Yep. That didn't go somewhere else. Now, be careful with the in breath, because what I noticed with that in breath is you breathe through your nose. Was there a reason why you breathe through your nose, or you didn't even think about it?
I didn't think about it. I was trying to take more breath in, so I think I was just like trying to go to town on the breath. So
Okay, so now I'll tell you what. What happened there as a result is that many times when we want to tank up on the air ends up being, and then everything's stiff to begin with. I'm going to have you breathe in with a ya, 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 because what you want to do is, as you're breathing in, one, you want your mouth open, and you want the back of the throat open. So you don't want to take a breath that has any kind of in the back of the throat. Usually, when one breathes through the nose, I'm going to take that back. When I breathe through my nose, the back of my throat shuts down. God bless somebody else if they breathe through the nose and the back of the throat doesn't shut down. That's amazing. But that may happen. But if you breathe in with the ya, 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 then the back of the throat's not going to shut down on you. So breathe in with the ya, ya, ya. Take your time with it. And then move around and sing.
you, 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 you.
Yeah. You see?
Yep.
Now, let's compare that top note to that bottom note. Does that top note seem like a whole different thing? Does it still seem chesty? Does it still?
It feels very connected top to bottom. It feels chesty across the board.
Okay, so it all feels like a chest voice,
Yeah.
but it's sounding more like a falsetto.
Oh,
Now, this
nice.
is really interesting because with most of my guys, to them, it'll feel like a falsetto, but sound more like a chest voice. Now, what's happening with you is the opposite. It's sounding more like a falsetto, but it's still feeling like a chest voice. So I think the reason why you think the falsetto is so elusive is because what you're used to having a falsetto feel like is not really an efficient falsetto. So the falsetto that's more efficient for you is the falsetto that kind of feels chesty.
I think I have this perception that it should sound like that kind of breathy, like soprano style sound of what I imagine a falsetto to sound like. And I think that that's my perception of what it should be, when in fact the reality of the sound that is coming out is completely different, of course.
Well, this particular sound on top, and I'm going to try it a little bit higher, is starting to have a little bit of that soprano equality to it. But breathy is not part of the soprano equality.
Yeah.
Do you see?
Yeah.
So let's try the next guy. I'm gonna push the envelope here, as I said. Breathe in with the ya ya ya, move around, and try another one.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But you have to do it on a new.
Oh, you. Okay, I'm gonna do that again. Let's try that one again. You.
Now the first two started to go somewhere else, and then there was a little grab on the third one.
Yeah.
Now, how did you experience those first two?
The first two kind of they felt it felt a little bit more seamless, and then I kind of went. The train kind of left the station, and I was like a little bit out of control towards the end. Is kind of how I felt, and I just went. Kind of started to overthink it, and just didn't relax into it in any way or form.
Exactly. It was a little bit of the overthinking, like, what's going on? Now, the first two started to do something else. I'm going to try one more way. The whole octave, right? Try the best you can. Let me put it this way: distract yourself by thinking, those are the pitches. I'm singing it with a you, and I'm moving around. So, though, to distract your mind from thinking about how you're doing it, I'm giving it something to concentrate on. So, you're going to concentrate on the pitches, the fact that it's you, and the fact that you're moving your body. Breathe in with the ya, 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 and then you. Energy and rhythm.
You.
Uh,
Nope.
uh,
Do you mind playing the arpeggio for me again, please?
huh. you sing it, let me explain to everybody what just happened, because this happens a lot. So because we're starting to get the muscles to go in a different direction, and because we're exploring territory that your voice is like, I don't know what this is, your brain is saying, I don't know what this is, I don't know where I'm going, I don't know what pitch I'm doing, I don't know what octave I'm in, that happens a lot. When we get the muscles re-coordinated, the people, and I know your ear, you have a great musical ear, I've known you for years. The best musicians that I teach, they will get confused. They will be, wait a minute, I don't know what octave I'm in. Is it up? Is it down? I don't know where to start that, because we're re-coordinating the muscles. And because we're re-coordinating the muscles and they're going in a place where you don't know where they are, then you don't know what to do with it. That's why I say best you can, just you. Think you're a soprano, but it might feel chesty, right? And you just let it fly and the whole thing. Try it again.
Except up an octave, but that's okay.
Yes, exactly. Up an octave. Okay. Now, I'll tell you what. Let me set it up for you. Just do that bottom note. Now, we're starting on the low side of the falsetto. So be very careful. Do that guy all by himself. You. Real easy. That's where you're starting. Okay? Now you know where you're starting. And you just fly. Now, the top guys may not feel like that. They may not sound like that. So see where it goes. Go for broke.
No, it's not.
That's all right. And it doesn't want to do that.
It doesn't want to.
This is also a really good point that people can view on my YouTube channel. Things don't always work. Now, at this point, your voice said, you know what? I'm not going to go higher. I tried to make it go higher. Your voice said, nope, not happening today. Great. Things don't happen all at once, all the time. It's not some magical thing that can happen whenever we all want it to happen. So as a teacher, I'm going to say, you know what? We're going to leave that guy alone, and I'm just going to see where we're at. Not too high, not too low. Plain old ah. Hold that top a little bit and come back down.
Ah.
There you go. I'm going to do one more.
Ah.
I lied. I'm going to do one more.
Okay. Ah.
Great. And that was the A natural again.
Okay, nice.
And that was even a better A natural than we had when we did it the first time around. So even though we couldn't quite get to that falsetto that broke off and was a little bit freer on the high notes, the work we did with the falsetto still made that A natural really easy.
Yeah, no, it felt very seamless, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And it felt easy on top. I didn't hear any kind of, or see any kind of a strain or any kind of a constriction with it.
No, it felt very good.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I think we'll end it there.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you. Thanks for watching Donna Reid Talks Voice. If you have any questions for me about this episode, please visit my website and click Contact.